I like this movie, which is, well, I saw it on Amazon. I presume it's one of those, or was it Netflix? It's one of those kind of movies anyway, from one of those streaming services. I have both. Yes. And I like the movie, but generally it's interesting because of two decisions that director Justin Kurzel has made. This is the movie set in 1983. It's The Order. It was released late last year, and it's set in 83, as I say. The really rather basic plot is that we have an FBI, a grizzled FBI veteran who's not washed up or anything. He's called Terry Husk. He is not a husk of a man. Now it's set based on a true story, I think, if I remember rightly. I think it is. And he is sent to a sleepy town in Idaho because there is what he believes to be a Ku Klux Klan, or that kind of white power type cell in the town. And indeed, that is the case. He isn't a washed up FBI gentleman. However, Terry is someone who is unconventional and likes to get things done. For instance, he will, during a shootout later on, there's an extended shootout in the denouement of this. I'm not going to tell you how it finishes, how it ends, but it's a kind of made-for-TV feel to it. If it wasn't for these two big decisions, more of that in a minute. But he's quite unconventional. He will not really pay that much attention to his increasingly gung-ho partner, who seems to be infected by the tough talking and acting Terry Husk. The partner isn't wearing a vest, any kind of bulletproof vest, and outcomes ensue which are not ideal. Now, he's a big drinker and big smoker, this FBI person. Unfortunately, when he's got his shirt off, he's revealed as having quite a worked out body. Now, you wouldn't, would you, if you were smoking a drinker like that? It's quite a lot of, coughing in the morning, late nights talking to his family who don't really want to speak to him. There's a bit of a fracture there. And then mornings coughing his guts up. He's played by, this is the first extraordinary decision, he's played by Jude Law, who is having a bit of a comeback, actually. Very good as Henry VIII recently. And he's got an extraordinary tash in this. He doesn't look like Jude Law. And that's partially to do with the playing, actually. It's not just about the tash. I mean, sometimes the tash does make the man. I mean, that would mean you didn't have a character if you were letting the tash do all the work. I can't understand that. But it is an extraordinary large tash, and the performance is simple, and what I mean is not flamboyant in any way, but really works. It's really straight ahead and not really very, very, not really easy to make friends with. Let's say that. And that's the first extraordinary. His body's too worked out, to be honest. It's a shame. But that's the first extraordinary decision. The other one is another casting decision, which is that within the cell, which is the white power cell, there's a gentleman who is leading that group, who is very interested in having that kind of insinuating themselves, should I say, into the political world. In a David Duke type way, that senatorship and all of that. And a group of, shall we say, more Proactive members want actions, not words. And there is an extraordinary scene in which the leader of that group, who is in the middle of a crowded room, whilst the elder gentleman is speaking, an elder as in top of the tree, is speaking, takes over that conversation and starts to talk about words being not worth much, and action being worth something, and he stirs that crowd who turn to look at him, and it finishes with an extraordinary chant of white power. It's quite frightening, actually. He's got a demagogic feel to himself and a sort of piercing eye look. Hold your gaze a little too long, and there doesn't appear to be that much behind that gaze, except this is my opportunity to make a difference, to be different, to stand out from the crowd. And this gentleman is played by, it's called Bob Matthews in the movie, but he's played by Nicholas Hoult. So another choice of an English actor here in a quintessentially American role. American role, FBI, quintessentially American. And the sort of white power, that kind of Ku Klux Klan feel, quintessentially American. Both great performances. Nicholas Hoult, nothing behind the eyes apart from a piercing stare. You feel that he is the husk of the man. It isn't a great movie. It barrels along in the way you expect it to. There's a big shootout at the end, and I won't tell you how it ends, because you might want to watch it. It's good to watch. It's good to watch. It's just that. The most interesting things are the casting. And probably with a movie of this nature, that's not what we should be talking about. Ta-ta.